Hey, what's up, you guys? Guinea Piggies Designs here, and today I am bringing you episode 25 of where I am sewing things for my guinea pig cage. So, real quick, for those of you who are new, my name is Brittany, and I basically just sew things for your small animals, and I do other random things. But for the past few months, I have been doing this series on my channel where I'm taking you guys step by step of how to sew your very own cage set. I'm actually doing a couple of cage sets, so there's that. But in this video, I am not going to be doing an intro or an outro. We're just going to jump right into it. So what I'm working on in this video though is I'm working on the Fleece Forests, the Guinea Pig Lounge couch, and the foam tunnels. So I'm just basically adding on to what I did in my previous videos. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So the first part that I'm working on is going to be the fleece forests. So I am working on two 2x1 fleece forests. So all I'm doing here is I'm going to be using the wavy stitch, and I'm just adding the second seam all the way around them. So for this seam, I am going 2 inches away from the edge of the top piece, if that makes sense. So not the fringes, but from the edge of the top piece. So I'm just going to sew all around that, and then since I am making 2 of these, I'm going to repeat this process one more time. Now I am moving on to the 1x1 fleece forest. So for this part, I'm just going to be doing the same thing where I am sewing around each of the 1x1 fleece forests, adding that second seam. Again, I am using the wavy stitch, sewing 2 inches away from the top edge. And again, I am making 2 of these, so I'm going to repeat this process one more time. Alright, so now moving on to the corner forest. So for this part, again, I'm just going to add the second seam to these, and I'm just adding that wavy stitch 2 inches away from the top edge. And since I am making 2 of these, I'm going to repeat this process a total of 2 times. on to the Piggy Lounge. So for this part, I'm going to add the second seam around the 2 removable pads. Again, this is going to be a straight stitch and it's going to be 2 inches away from the edge. So I'm going to sew around both pads, adding that second seam. And then once I'm done adding that second seam, these pads are done. I'm not going to be working on them anymore. So then after that, I'm going to move on to the actual Piggy Lounge. So for the Piggy Lounge part, you just want to make sure that the Piggy Lounge is inside out. And then I'm going to sew the edge piece. So I'm going to attach the 2 edges together, and I'm going to use my large Wonder clips to do that. And then I'm going to sew a straight line down one side of the edge, and then I'm going to flip it over and sew another straight line down on that same line that I sewed, if that makes sense, just to ensure the stitch is strong. And you can refer to the video of how I do this. Alright, so now I am moving on to the couch. So for the couch, what I'm going to do first is hand sew up the 2 pillows. And to hand sew up the 2 pillows, I am going to be using a ladder stitch with a needle and thread. If you guys do want to see a more detailed version of how I sew up a hole, you can check out my potty pad tutorial, which will be linked down below. Now I am turning the couch right side out. So to do this, I'm just grabbing a layer of U-Haul and a layer of fleece, and that's where I'm going to stick my hand in to pull it right side out, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to start working on the 2 removable pads. So for this part, just adding that second seam, which is 2 inches away from the edge. I'm going to sew around the pads for this. And then once I sew that second seam around the pads are completely finished, and also the pillows are completely finished. I will not be working on those anymore. Alright, so the last things that I'm working on in this video are the 3 foam tunnels. So for this part, I'm just going to add that second seam around the 2 removable pads. And then once I do that, I am completely done with the pads. And then I'm going to start working on the top and the bottom piece of the foam tunnel. Alright, so now I'm working on the bottom piece of the foam tunnel. So for this part, I'm going to be using the wavy stitch. And what I'm doing here is adding 2 seams 2 inches away from the short edge. And then I'm going to continue adding more seams that measure 2 inches away from each other till I get to the center. So I usually add 6 seams going along the short edge. And then I'm going to do 1 seam going through the middle long ways. Now I am working on the top piece. So for the top piece, I'm adding 2 seams on the edges along the short edge. And for the shorter edge, I am adding 6 seams going that direction. And then for the longer edge, I'm adding 5 seams. I am trying to ensure that these seams measure 2 inches away from each other. And after I'm done with this, I'm just going to repeat the whole process again 2 more times because I am making 3 foam tunnels. Alright, so here are all the items that I worked on in this video, and in my next video I am going to be working on the cage liners. And then if you guys are wondering where I did get anything that I did use in this video, make sure you check down below in the description because I will have everything linked down there. Also, I will have all my social media links linked down below, so if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, go ahead and check the description. And these are my ready to ship items, so if you guys are interested in purchasing anything from my shop, my Etsy link will be down below. I am also accepting custom orders, so you can go ahead and send me a message if you are interested in a custom order, and I can give you more information on that. Again, social medias are linked down below. And if you guys did like this episode, make sure you give this video a like, and if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you do want to see more videos from me. And I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Alright,